Welcome everyone for the next session. It's my pleasure to introduce to you the speaker for now, Eder Cuevas from Mexico. He is a long time involved in Montessori, and even before he was involved in sports and education in general, working for schools, also a professor at the University of Chihuahua. So there's a big background in that. His expertise is versatile, his energy level is too. I know him from work we have done together at the Global School Accreditation. He is also an administrator trainer delivering administrator school leadership courses in Mexico and elsewhere. You're well recognized as a speaker, as a consultant on that administrator level, as well as the 6 to 12, 12 to 18. And you are also quite involved in Montessori Sports, working with Ruben Jonkind, Patrick Audians from Montessori Sports on delivering these programs in Mexico and elsewhere. Ruben will be joining us later as a co-speaker. He's not just not yet here.
It's still running.
Still running. He started this morning. Yeah. So yeah. Without further ado, I'd like to ask Eder to start and talking about project in Chihuahua and Oaxaca.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here again. Now we're going to talk about something quite different, because in the past we talked about the prison projects, and now I'm going to talk especially for two projects, two things, beautiful things that are happening in Mexico, one in Chihuahua and the other one in Oaxaca. We heard a little bit for the Global Montessori Fund about that project in Oaxaca. So I'm going to explain a little bit more about that. And Ruben is going to help me with the second part of this as a part of this presentation. So the first thing that I want to say is that I'm coming from Chihuahua in Mexico, and especially for that specific school that is the Montessori of Chihuahua School. That is my second home, 20 years there. So it's quite half of my life being there. So it's a really important part for me. And one important aspect of this school is the oldest school in Mexico, 62 years old. And I'm happy to share a little bit of what happened with the adolescent program. So surprise, surprise, we're going to talk about adolescents in this part of the presentation. So I hope you like it. But first, before going on with the presentation, I need to ask you for a little activity between you and someone that is next to you to share something that is in your mind when I'm asking you to bring from one memory from your adolescent stage, your adolescent passage. So if I'm asking you for bring some memory from there, the first one you're going to share with someone that is next to you. 2 minutes each person, and then we come back, okay? 2 minutes. Share with the person that is next to you about the first thing that comes to your mind about your adolescent. Okay, thank you. So coming back, I need to tell you that the school has almost 600 students. The adolescent programs goes from 12 to 15, and it's 120 students started in this specific part. So we're going to move to the next slide to show you this. Mark Twain says, "When I was a boy of 14, my father was so ignorant I could hardly stand to have the old man around. But when I got to be 21, I was astonished at how much the old man had learned in 7 years." So it looks like adolescent, right? Okay, well, this is an introduction of that part. This is an introduction to tell you. And now Dr. Montessori, that is also, of course, really important for us in that sense, says perhaps the failure of the secondary schools is due to the fact that it used methods of assimilation that are no longer suited to the development of the child. The child should no longer be restricted to the environment of the school, to the bastard environment in which we learn and is understood the how and the why, nor so close to the family from which he depends financially. He wants to live society. He should go farther away. And for those who have studied adolescent programs for Montessori, understand really well why it's important, this quote. Understanding that Montessori is giving us an opportunity to change the environment and to understand that we need to go further, not just being at the school, but really having this connection with society and a special connection with the land and how this is all connected with nature. So this is one example of what they are doing. Majalca is a town that is 1 hour driving distance from Chihuahua, from the city. So we decided to create a special program for them, for this adolescent in Chihuahua. But you need to understand, of course, that the adolescent is really important, the way that you're approaching the adolescent, that is not just giving instruction about what they should do. It's actually the opposite. You need to work outside that idea, and then the adolescents getting that and really making it happen. So when we understand that it's important for us, Majalca, because it's like the lung of the city. All the water of the Chihuahua city comes from Majalca, from the rain that is there. It's a little forest that we have. Chihuahua is kind of a desert. So it is, now you realize what is important, the work here. So we said, yes, we want to work with this. We want the residential life here. But how do we connect it with that possibility that they have the will, actually, to go there and work? And a big work, really. And being there, making these walls of stones and different natural part to avoid the erosion of the old trees. So that's really huge and really a lot of work there. So we decided to bring some experts telling us why it's important Majalca, why it's important to be involved in that. And at the end of that, special program that we have with them, they started to raise their hand and say, what can we do? So that's the way that you get involved the adolescents. It's not giving the instruction, it's the opposite. It's showing the problem so that they can take care. So that's the way that we did. 10 years ago of this program, with beautiful, wonderful things, sometimes with support of the government, sometimes not. Actually, one of the sad things that happened before, it was that in this report that the government did for the 6th year working into a national park, because a national park, they put it, and we did this. But they didn't put the adolescent there as a credit of that, and the adolescents were really offended about that. They didn't. So they didn't really, they didn't show the gratitude about the whole the support of the adolescents. So this program runs this in this way. Once a month, the adolescent spend 1 week. So they go there Sunday afternoon, and they spend the whole week there. They have their residential life, but they have a lot of projects that they run around the nature here. They're trying to work conserving the trees, and of course they made trails, and that they can because it is a touristic place, of course, so that is possible to work in a different way for the people that go there. They're getting trash that they found there, and once I remember that once they start to observe different children there, and they say, what happened with these children? And they realized that there it was a school actually, but not running the school. The school was closed. And they said, what can we do? It is possible to do another thing. Why they don't have teacher? So this is because the government doesn't send someone. It was no one there, no teacher there. So they realized that maybe I can do something else. We can do something else. So they start to prepare themselves. and said, yes, we're going to show these children from different ages, we're going to show something about Montessori. So they start to talk with the teacher, said, okay, what can we do? And we start with some presentation, and they came up with the idea out of 4-period lesson. They said, yes, it's a 4-period lesson. And we start like, what do you mean with 4? What is 4-period lesson? Say, yes, because at the end I think that it's a good idea drawing things. So it's a 3-period lesson plus drawing. That's the 4. That was the foreplay for that. Anyway, so this is the work, and I'm not going to speak a lot about that, but I'm going to show you actually a video that's going to explain about what is the kind of work that they are doing.
Soy habitante del bosque Cumbres de Majalca. Mi nombre es Mil Peligros. Mi hogar se encuentra al noroeste de la ciudad de Chihuahua. Estoy rodeado de cañones formados mayormente de residuos volcánicos. El clima en verano no supera los 35 grados, mientras que en invierno el frío puede llegar hasta -10. En un año puede haber hasta 100 días de heladas. El verano es bendecido por abundante lluvia, que se convierte en la principal fuente de agua para la ciudad de Chihuahua, además de ser un pulmón de aire limpio y regulador del clima. Recuerdo cómo era todo tranquilo antes de que el hombre llegara. Extraño los sonidos como el rugido del oso y del puma, el cantar de las aves, el maullido del gato montés y el picar del carpintero imperial. Hoy tenemos problemas y hay que atenderlos. Hay que lograr la restauración ambiental del ecosistema. El maltrato y la pérdida de suelo, así como la deforestación excesiva, provocan que cuando llueve el agua no penetre al subsuelo. Por lo tanto, fluye con fuerza llevándose la capa vegetativa y parte del suelo, ya que no hay raíces que retengan la tierra y absorban el agua. Hay que controlar la erosión, cuidar la sanidad vegetal y manejar la biodiversidad. Hay que erradicar la basura y promover la cultura de sin dejar rastro. No todo está perdido. Hay mucha gente que ama Majalca y que se preocupa por nosotros y por la conservación del medio ambiente. Los colonos, los visitantes, las comunidades que han estado cerca a través de los años y los jóvenes del Colegio Montessori.
Es importante incluir a las personas de las comunidades dándoles servicios dignos de escuela, salud y bienestar social, informándolos sobre la situación para que puedan ser parte de la solución.
Los visitantes deben poder practicar actividades recreativas sin dañar el medio ambiente.
La primera visita de alumnos Montessori fue en octubre de 2014. Desde ese momento nos hemos comprometido con el cuidado del Parque Nacional Cumbre de Majalca.
En nuestro tiempo de trabajo de campo, elaboramos gaviones para evitar la pérdida de suelo y la caída de árboles. Un gavión consiste en rejas llenas de piedra colocadas estratégicamente. Se acomodan unos sobre otros y fungen como barreras físicas contra cualquier elemento que erosione el área a proteger.
También habilitamos senderos y se les da mantenimiento, limpiando, podando y marcando el camino, para que la gente se motive a caminar.
No dejar rastros de basura y respetarse unos a otros para vivir en armonía como comunidad.
Queremos invitarlos a unirse a este proyecto,
Ya que no solo ayuda al medio ambiente,
sino que también ayuda a formar personas con conciencia ambiental desde la niñez.
Todos los chihuahuenses debemos de conocer la importancia de Majalca.
Recordemos que además es un lugar que podemos disfrutar.
Es un área protegida y es la fuente principal del agua.
Y un filtro importante en la calidad del aire.
Y es el controlador del clima de cada uno de los que vivimos en la ciudad.
La zona y el parque.
Cada uno de nosotros tiene la posibilidad y la responsabilidad de actuar.
y al actuar estaremos impactando en la conservación
de nuestro planeta.
So this is part of the work that the adolescents are doing there. It's a huge work, a lot of time spent there, but really the adolescents are taking care of everything. So of course, there's people that are going there, but are people that remain in the house to make all the housekeeping process. And of course, the kitchen. They're taking care of the kitchen. So they have different plans of how the week is doing, so they stay 1 or 2 days in the house for the whole days and making the cooking, and then the others goes to the land to work there. This video was made by themselves. Of course, we hire a company to help us to do that, but they run the whole thing and they started to do it. And at the end, you will see something that is really funny, but at that time, it was like a challenge. So they need to put that specific shot there because they wanted. They say we want this part as to be part of the whole video. So what else? Well, it is important to notice that the adolescents need a really meaningful and real work. That's the thing for the adolescent. When you give the opportunity and the prepared environment to do that. So this is happened and this is possible. Dr. Montessori says, from childhood to adolescence, the organization must be determined because it is necessary to develop the power of self-adjustment to the environment as it is found. And this adaptation results in cooperation and a happy social life that will facilitate individual progress. The environment must make the free choice of occupation easy and therefore eliminate the waste of time and energy in following back and uncertain preference. From all this resource will be not only self-discipline, but a proof that self-discipline is an aspect of individual liberty and a shift factor of success in life. And I'm being there for several times with the adolescent, and I really love because at the end of the day, we did this circle and we start to talk about the achievements and different things, and it's really amazing that the adolescents, when they're saying, how many gabions have you made this week? They said, well, 8, let's put it 8. So, okay, so 8, and it's Thursday. I mean, we can live it like that. It's a good amount. Say, no, tomorrow we want to do more. So they have challenged themselves. And when they found a really important task, a really important challenge, they take it. So, but they need opportunities to do that. And they know that this is important not for them. It's not a work that is closing and is finished there. It is something more because the society, the city of Chihuahua is waiting for that help. Even if the society or the people there doesn't know. Okay, and again, Dr. Montessori, following that quote, said, a very important matter is the fundamental order in the succession of occupations during the day and the times for the changeover. This should be experimental at first and develop into an established thing. Necessities will arise and we have to be dealt with, and this will tend to create an organization. But it's necessary to consider not only the active occupation, but the need for solitude and quiet, which are essential for the development of the high-end treasure of the soul. So this is quite different. This is another environment, as you see, and a well-prepared environment for them because there is nature. And nature has its own control of error, and we can find the ways. The nature is telling you what they need, if they need the gabions, and if the tree needs water, and so on. At the end, adolescent needs connection, not perfection. They need someone that believes in them. They need someone that really cares of that, and not just fiction, and not just work that is not meaningful, and it's not just something that is like that. So they need really important work to carry on. So we're gonna move to the second program, and this is gonna be also empowered by Ruben. So AMI-NAMTA you heard a little bit about that with the Montessori Global Fund. So AMI-NAMTA is a project that was created in the mountains of Oaxaca. Oaxaca is a state, as you see, in the south of Mexico. And it was one Spanish woman living there in Oaxaca that realized that they need a school, and they need a good school. So she started to look for important pedagogists, important movement in education, and she realized that Montessori was the best thing because they meet all the needs, and they in Montessori we understand really well the value of the nature. So they carry on with that program, and we're going to show a video. Now, it's not in English. I'm just going to show you a little bit of the video to understand what it's about and to understand the facilities that they have there. AMI-NAMTA is part of the HORME program. See, and this program is part of the network that we have in Mexico. So as you see, it's in the forest. Ruben will show you a little bit about the challenge in make sports there, especially because the kind of place that it is.
Había que tomar acción. Así nació AMI-NAMTA, como un proyecto que se aferró.
She's Carolina. She's the one leading the program there. So they make the whole building with all the natural things as possible that they found there. But it's not just a school. It's a culture around the child again, with really a beautiful and prepared environment. And it's a real commitment to train the teachers there. It's a real commitment to find a better ways to support the community. And you start to see a lot of people around cities that are near to that park coming to see what's happening there. What's the beauty of this? Because you're hearing a lot of that.
Resuena en el corazón de cualquier ser humano, y es ahí donde se disuelven las fronteras, resignifican las diferencias.
We hear for the Montessori Global Fund that there's a Zapotec community there, so they have a mixture between the different cultures, and it's really amazing how they support, the parents support the cleaning, the parents support the new facilities, so they start to move with that.
Y es nuestra responsabilidad estar ahí, cada vez mejor preparados, desde la infancia hasta la adolescencia, con más experiencia, infraestructura y alianzas que nos permitan cristalizar un legado lo suficientemente bueno, bello y verdadero como para seguir y seguir mucho después de nosotros.
So I'm going to introduce, you want to introduce him? Yep. So we're going to move on with the second part of this presentation. So we changed the PowerPoint, and I want to stop here, and then because my dear friend is coming. So.
Thank you. Thank you, Eder, for the first part of the presentation. So now we continue with a part that is more focused to the sports. Montessori Sports is the initiative and organization that Ruben Jonkit founded years ago, together with Patrick. And now we've seen great improvements, great growth of Montessori Sports as the course deliverer. And now we're also seeing the need to see what we can do in some of the underprivileged communities and areas. And that I think you will be showcasing us today. So all the best.
Thank you, Boyd. Thank you, everybody, for being here in this talk. Thanks, Eder, for introducing me and Boyd. It's important, I think, before I start, about the social projects we're doing, which are connected to the work that Montessori Mexico is doing. To tell you a little bit about Montessori Sports, although most of you probably have heard about it. Also, some of you have no real idea about the connection between Montessori and sports. Therefore, it's important to tell the story because when I was in my training years as a coach, because I started as a coach, I started, let's say, 15 years ago, coaching children, and I worked at a professional academy, and then I met this boy. And this boy, at a certain point in his life, started to play for Ajax Amsterdam Academy. It's a club here in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam, a famous academy club. But he was different. He was empathetic. He asked me questions. He was really willing to learn. He helped others. He was very kind, very graceful. And I said, like, this is strange. I want to know more about this boy, you know. So then I met his father, and his father said, well, why don't you come over for dinner? I said, okay, let's do that. And then, well, I rang the door, and somebody opened the door and said, hello, my name is Lynn Lawrence. Oh, okay. Yeah, of course, you're the mother, but I knew nothing about Montessori. And then she helped me she inspired me to learn about Montessori. And at a certain point in time, I got through a very influential person, Johan Cruyff. It's a former Dutch football player and coach. He came into the academy of Ajax and he saw that what we were doing, and he said, okay, now it's time for you to take charge of the talent development program of the whole club. So then started to working on that, and this club really made a big progress. They reached the final of Europa League, with the youngest team ever to reach a final in 2017, only 5 years after implementing the Montessori principles into that academy. 2 years later, they even beat one of my mother is from Madrid, so and my grandfather was always a Real Madrid fan. But Ajax beat Real Madrid in Madrid with 4-1, with 18-year-old boys, 19-year-old boys, and everybody said, "How's that possible?" But as we've seen just in the videos and the story of Eder, when the adolescents are given the freedom to choose, and we regard them as humans, then we know that at 18 years they are ready for society, right? So it's not that strange if you give the opportunities for development at early stages of life. Okay, so we said nice Ajax, big top sport, but this is so powerful. We need to do this for more children. More children need to be educated in this way, to help them to enjoy sports. Because we also know, and especially in Montessori, that the way that sports is taught is not so nice often. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure putting on the children, shouting of coaches, competition, comparison, and stuff like that. When you eradicate that and you work from Montessori principles, and you see big improvements of the sports skills of the children. So we decided in 2018 to work together, because Lynn also has a special feeling for sports, obviously, because of her son. And we said, okay, this can also be a way to go further, and also even a key, a portal to reach children, because out of 8 billion people on the planet, for example, 4 billion people, they are football fans. So it's a way to get into the cultures and the minds of people, of parents, of educators, to show them how Montessori can work. So our first goal of Montessori Sports is to bring sports in a Montessori way to the Montessori community. That's what we've been doing, working in schools, working with Montessori guides to help them basically to give this movement area extra tools, extra activities with which they can prepare their sports environments with the children. That's the first step. After that, we feel the responsibility to change the way that sports is coached now. So the traditional sports coaching can benefit a lot from Montessori. So this is our long-term vision. As you've seen in the beginning, perhaps we have reached now more than 1,000 people, mostly Montessori guides, but also physical education teachers and other coaches in almost 80 countries. And that's really spreading fast. But it's important to know why we connected. I just gave some clues, but there's more things that are important in this area. And we know that because of the technology that's developing rapidly, we know that the sedentary lifestyle is a big threat. I noticed it myself, to be fair, when I'm sitting down for a long time these days. I need to get up, I need to move. And we know a movement is a human tendency, right? So the movement is very important. And in the time of Montessori, there was more movement. They needed to do everything themselves. A lot of practical life, a lot of transportation. So, but now it has changed. So, for example, in the Casa de Niños, the children's house, there's 2 movement activities specifically for the movement, which is of course the walking the line and the silence game. And of course all the work that they're doing in all the other areas, they move more, but it's still not enough if we take into account what's happening in society. And of course we can bring sports to the children in a way that they can benefit from it the rest of their lives. So if a healthy lifestyle is important, then sports is a big part of that. And if we do it in the right way, they will enjoy it in their whole life and not stop sports when they turn 13 and 12 and they say, now it's enough, I don't want to be shouted at anymore. So that's also important. So we need to continue to bring these sport activities in a child-centered way, and then we can further our work. And we also have problems in the Montessori schools, where we see that a lot of people are not Montessori trained, they're physical education teachers, or you have to get a parent in an after-school program or something, and then there's a disconnect between the way that they are teaching and the Montessori environments. So we can also bridge that gap. These are just the images of modern times. We know that. And then there's also this problem about illness due to physical inactivity and obesity in children, which is predicted to be a major problem in the coming decades. Yes, adult-centered way of teaching. What did Montessori herself said about it? This is interesting. In 1943, it's observed today that children's movements are in general less developed than in previous generations. This is to be overcome by forcing the child to do gymnastics and at a later stage to give him opportunities for sport. 1943, she was ahead 100 years of her time. And she also writes things about sport. So she says, we ourselves have these cycles of activity without a useful purpose. English sport is like this, as it seems to serve no useful external aim. Sport is not played merely for the sake of competition, it's an exercise. We must give the child opportunities for this kind of play instead of useless play. Just as we have to prepare a special environment for sport, like a tennis court if we are to play tennis, the child must be given the means for this kind of exercise, which is necessary for his life. It's essential that the small child has the opportunity for movement. The purpose behind the cycle of activity is not only to become strong, but also to acquire ability. The purpose of sport is to make us stronger and more able. It's an interesting citation, interesting idea. So the competition is not with someone else, it's with yourself to acquire a new skill, something that you not had before. That's her her message. This is the way that Montessori Sports works. Okay, so we also want to work for children that don't have the resources to do sports or to be guided in a proper way. And the Montessori Sports Fund was established to do that. And the people who take our courses, they can become member of Montessori Sports, and then they pay for a monthly membership, and part of this membership fee goes directly into the fund. And through this, when we grow as Montessori Sports, we will also grow the Montessori Sports Fund automatically. Nevertheless, we still need support from donors to be able to do our projects. Well, if we see the projects that we are doing, the first one we're doing in Mexico, in Oaxaca, what Eder showed. And the next ones, probably the next one will be in Thailand with the help of Kanakar. We will also show you some videos about that. And the materials, of course, that we develop together with Nienhuis that have to be child-sized and need to have a purpose. These are very important sports materials that we need to be able to introduce Montessori sports into schools and communities. Just explained that. Okay, this is it's a video. This is also the place that Eder showed. It's like very mountainous. So we didn't have a sports field there, so it had to be created. So with the local workers, we basically flattened an area with rocks and some stuff. And now they, I don't know if you can play it. It's used as a playground. You see the little Montessori sports ball. But they're playing a game. Maybe you see which game it is. It's there's something lacking. Baseball, yes. But they don't have a bat yet. So we need to help them to get that. But you can see that this field is occupied almost the whole day now. And the children, they do different sports there, from baseball to basketball to football. It's a very nice mix. I was there last month. It's very high. It's 2,600 meters. So it's also very strenuous for exercise. But the children are much better adapted than I am. Please continue. Some pictures. We also helped with local initiatives. So the whole area, they are not doing so much sports, and if they do it, it's very adult-centered. So parents come and they start to scream because they want the children to win. And then we organized this tournament, a football tournament, and we had some rules, new rules, like it's not allowed to shout. You just have to. You can watch, and you can cheer, but you cannot shout to the children. The coaches are not there. We took away the referee. It was all very interesting, because when you get the referee in, then the parents, they start to blame the referee. So we took it away, and the children had to resolve is it ball in or out, you know? Was it a goal or was it not a goal? And there was absolutely no problem during the whole tournament. Very interesting to see that. And you saw like also different rules in the football game itself to further the playfulness of the game instead of the result focused way that it's been done in the previous times. So this is the way we do it in Mexico. This is a project that we are willing to do, but we need still some more resources. The translations of our course is almost finished in Thai. This is an orphanage, a network of orphanages. This is in Udon Thani. You can play it if you want. When I was there was like it's a girls' orphanage, and doesn't work somehow. But there's a football club they created themselves, and the girls are only playing football when they have spare time. They're just out on that pitch, but they are not trained. The teachers are not trained. They lack shoes sometimes, or a kit, materials, but also Montessori materials themselves. So also the teachers are not all Montessori trained. So the Montessori Sports Fund is not only for the sports, but also to help with setting up and building up the Montessori environments, but using sports as a key. So everybody can see that these girls enjoy it, and then we can come in and say, okay, we can do this in a better way, more child-centered, and then this can also draw donors and support from the government. Continue. Oh yeah, there we go. So yeah, this was also interesting. When I came, they started to play a match with referees and 2 coaches. They were shouting. I said, okay, thank you for doing this, and now we're going to do it differently. So we changed it around and changed the environment in a way that it responded to the needs and characteristics of these children in second plane. And that was and then we talked about it later. So what did we change? Why did we change it? And what did you see? What did you observe? Okay. Yeah. It's another game we played. Sometimes they're very simple games with rules, and then they can help to make the rules, which respond much more to their needs. Yeah. By the way, it's almost 40 degrees out there. You don't see this, but and very humid. They adapt. That's just to give you an idea. This is work that Patrick did last Congress in Bangkok. These are orphans also, but you see that they are being how do you say it? I'm having the languages in my head. They got a present from Arsenal. By the way, I know his Aubameyang is a player, and his agent is a good friend of mine. But he gave the shirts to the orphanages. But then there's shirts, okay, but then there's no help, how to prepare the environments. So this is the next step for us to work in this network of orphanages and work for the Thai children and teachers. Yes, these are the requirements of the project. Well, obviously you need an interest in sport, but also an existing Montessori environment or the wish to implement this, and some support like Montessori Mexico is of great help. Without Montessori Mexico, we can't do anything. And without the people in Thailand, we can also not work. So there needs to be some infrastructure there to help. And some need, existing need. Yes, please. So this is just to give you a small 15-minute sneak preview of Montessori Sport and the Sport Fund. If you know some projects that might be interesting or people that want to help, please tell us, because we need any help. Thank you for your attention.